YouTube, how to change the strings in an electric guitar. Who's doing clickbaity normal things? Yeah, so this is a Spear guitar I picked up the other day. These are the strings that were on it when I got it, which are pretty minging. So actually, this is also a double trial out for what's in the bag. It's a new set of strings. You get these on eBay from a plate. Does it say on it what they were? I bought guitar strings from them before. Oh, this may be a very short video if this isn't what I think it is. Electric guitar it is. I thought they would have just sent me. So these are. Oh no, they're in there as well. Yeah. Yes, I have. I've had these before. These are. I thought it was Ziko, but it's Ziko custom light strings for an acoustic guitar. eBay just now, tenner for 5 sets, and it's like. I bought them just, you know, I don't really play acoustic that much, so it's like just having decent strings on it makes a big difference. So I thought you can also get electric strings. They only had 9s though, in a so 5 packs for a tenner, so £2 a set. You can buy Harley Benton strings, which are a bit shit. They're kind of alright. You can use them as it's like setup strings or whatever. So I'm basically just going to try these out. It's just like, you know, for a guitar that you just want to make it work. I wonder what they're like. The thing that I find with the Harley Benton ones is they're not made of the same kind of metal. They're sort of, they feel metally. Strings are made of metal, but you'll know what I mean. So I'm just going to quickly change the strings on this and see what it sounds like with decent strings on it. I'm going to use one of these. It's a string winder. You don't need one. To be honest, I bought this because I bought a 12-string guitar and there's 12 things, so it takes forever. So what we're going to do is take these off. You can just cut them off, but can't be bothered. And I think in this one, normally I would I'd probably just take all the strings off, and I've got a fret rubber that was which lives up here, which. It's not to say this is the same as a fret job or anything like that. It's just like a rubber. My pal Wayne gave me this. I don't think they're expensive. I've never even seen. I don't even know. I've never looked for them on eBay. But if you just give it a quick, like once you've taken the strings off, it just makes them shiny again, like within 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna. Am I gonna just do one string at a time? No. Yeah. Well, the problem with these is no. I'll take them all off and I'll do it anyway because. They're all coming off anyway. If you're doing like a Floyd Rose or some sort of tremolo equipped guitar, I would do one string at a time. Just because, you know, if this thing's moving, then you don't want. If anyone who's ever owned a Floyd Rose for one of their earliest guitars will know that it's, you know, I'll take all the strings off and then the bridge falls off and all that, and then you try to put it on again and you put the strings on and the bridge is away inside the body and yeah. So. That's a standard Les Paul type tunematic bridge, which is just the answer is never just brute force and ignorance, really. Well, the answer is normally brute force and ignorance, but try to pull them through. This is the bit where you stab yourself in the fingers, which you don't tend to do if so this is it's called a stop tail piece, which is basically just a bar with holes in it that holds the string, and then it goes over this adjustable bit which adjusts your height and a wee bit of in and out quite easy. What's going to happen here, I'm going to show you, is which you can actually get guitars that what are they called, Tone Pros, which these bits actually clip onto the body. But what you're going to see here is when I take these off, which there's a I said you don't need a string winder, really. It just, if you've got one, and to be fair, they're £1 or £2 or something, you know. You get them in all these, I think you actually get them free with some sets of strings. I'm sure Tony in Blitzkrieg shop tried to give me one, gave me a black one the other day, or the other week. I don't know what I did with it, I lost it immediately. For some reason, and the trick with this is, have a place to keep it. For me, it's, see just there in the corner of this amplifier, that's where that lives, so it's always there. Got my set thing. If you just have it in a box, you'll lose it. So this just falls off. And to be fair, this just falls off as well. So you don't want to be, you want to try and keep these on, so that's why I'm holding the guitar horizontally. Wow, these are rusty. Yeah, so the trick here is I'm going to put the strings on here, but this is going to want to fall off all the time. I might even just tighten it up a little bit. There's thoughts of whether you want to... some people claim that you want to have this drilled straight into the body, or you want it raised up so there's not as much of a break angle, or you put the strings through this way and over the top. I'm sure there's lots of videos on what people claiming the virtues of all of these things, but it doesn't really make any difference. I'll just do it the way they do it in the factory. I know these strings, these are the same as the acoustic ones. You get like a wee, they've got a wee bit of paper on them, a wee plastic, a wee sticker that says 6 on it, which is the thickest string, so you know which order to put them on. They've always got different ways. The way Rotosound do it is, you can see that there. It's like you get like a silver pack. This is a multi-pack. Normally the pack would normally have graphics like this on it, but it's just one bag with the strings in it, and the E and the G have got blue ends on them. The A and the B have white, and the other ones have red. So you get 2 strings that are the same colour, but you can tell which one's thicker, you know, because they're miles apart. When it becomes different is if it just gave you a pack, you're sitting there going, oh, is this the thin one or the second thinnest one? And it's not really that easy. So, and then is that it there? Have I just... Yes, that's a new one. Yep. So you put it in here, and through. This has just got a hole in it. In there like that. Over the top of this. Right. So this is the tuner it's going on. So I am going to put a wee kink. People say, you know, it's probably what it's kind of like an experience thing. But ideally, what you want on the post is like between 2 and 4 complete turns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go somewhere between this tuner and this tuner, and put a wee kink in it. And then I'm going to stick this through the hole of the tuner. And I think that's a bit, so I'll be able to put a wee bit more than that. Right, so basically about that much. Put a kink in it, put it on, and then wind it up. Which obviously is about 5 seconds quicker than doing it without the string winder. And that's just through experience, that has given me 2 winds. So if I'd left it that much, you know, about 50 millimeters, 5 centimeters, or 2 inches past it, put a wee kink and put the thing on there, and then you end up with the correct amount of winds. Not enough winds, the string will just pull off. Too many winds, it's just a nightmare. I've had guitars that have had both orders of it. I'm just basically going to rattle these on as quickly as I can. You can sit there and worry about this poking me in the eye, which is always what you worry about with guitar strings, whether you're going to poke yourself in the eye or not. You will be able to tell that I've done this before. So again, 2 inches past it, something like that. Put a wee kink in it, stick it through the hole. And the other thing is, on the strings go. Hold on 2 seconds. Another thing which a lot of people get wrong. Well, nobody ever does it themselves, but oh, this guitar's got the strings on the wrong way around. You want to put on like a Les Paul type thing. The string goes on this side of the tuner, not this side. Otherwise, it turns the wrong way. So, on a 3-a-side headstock, all the strings go to the inside of the tuner. So these ones go to the underside of the tuner, and when you're doing these strings, they go to the top side of the tuner. That's the way to do it. I've seen many guitars. The thing is, if you do it the other way, the angles coming off it are all a bit wonky, and you put extreme angles on the nut and it doesn't stay in tune. So you really want to do that. So that one I've managed 3 winds on, which is about right. Yep, I'll have that. There is an art to putting strings on. Right, one of my pals used to do, he'd be tying knots and doing all this stuff in it, and it was like, it made him an absolute nightmare to take them off. And it's especially, see, when the guitars, like, once the strings get really old, you're sitting there and someone's, you know, like tied knots and going under and over, and it's just like you end up just stabbing yourself in the fingers, and it's like, because especially on the really thin strings because they're really sharp, and it's just oh man, going to no day that really. And my pal was like, oh, that's the way Jimi Hendrix did it, and it's like, yeah, but Jimi Hendrix was doing it live on stage while he was talking because he'd snapped a string and only had one guitar, which is quite a skill in itself. You know, kind of, oh, I've just snapped a string. I'll talk a little bit to the audience while I change the string. It's like, yeah, I can't remember which concert I've seen him do that in. I've not really seen that many Led Zeppelin concerts. You can also get Scott's got one. My pal Dav, I've got one as well. Like a not a drill attachment. You could just stick that on a drill, zump, zump, zump. I mean, you get like an electric one that kind of, which if you were in a factory and you were stringing up, you know, however many 100 guitars a day and stuff like that, yeah, totally. But you're not. Even if you're doing a couple of guitars a day, I wouldn't bother with that. So my pal's got one, but David's got one, and he was using it. I was talking to him, and I was just on a video call, and he was like, I can't find my thing, and then he was like, so he was changing the strings when he was talking to me. He's like, oh, these tuners are really nice, and it's like, but you don't notice it because you don't actually have the tactile sensation of actually turning it. If you're just using a machine, you don't know whether it's turning smoothly or anything like that. So same again with these ones, I would tend to leave it a little bit longer. You know, I was going for the 2 inches. I would go a wee bit longer than that because I don't mind having extra wraps because there's more room on the post to take it. So I would maybe put that one, you know, maybe 2.5, 3 inches up. I'll just flip between millimeters and I don't use centimeters. You only use centimeters in school. Millimeters, mil is the builder way. And as you can see, these ones are going on the top edge of the lower strings. So on a Telecaster or something like that, all the strings go on the bottom edge. It just becomes really annoying when it's like, see, I do actually have a couple of guitars, my Schecter P-Bass and my EBO, the tuners go the other way, as in the actual grub, the worm screw inside the tuner is the opposite way around. So they're both the Gibsons from the 60s, and it's like, you get used to it, but because I've got so many guitars, it becomes a sort of, I'm just going to stab myself and just have a pair of pliers sitting there so you can just snip, 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 and now I'm not going to get stabbed in the eye. Yeah. And again, the only thing I find annoying about the acoustic versions is picking off those wee stupid stickers. Obviously you could put those wee stickers in the bin, or you could just leave them on the floor. That's how you get a carpet that looks like mine. And it's like, what if I ever make the mistake of walking in here in bare feet? I could, you know, when I go back to the bedroom, it's like, oh look, what have we got stuck to the soles of my feet? Oh, we've got some stickers from strings, we've got little bits of solder, we've got little bits of rubber that have been taken off the end of wires. Yeah, it's lovely. Lovely. The beat. Again, I'll do the same thing again. Run it a bit to a bit there. We kink in it. We kink just. I mean, the wee kink just helps you to hold it in place. And I've not even talked about it, which I've been doing automatically. You've not even noticed this position. See, I've got the string here. You can't see it. I'm holding it with this bit of my hand, and I've got my finger pointing down on it, holding it down to where it's want to be. This has got too many winds on it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, and before I've done the last one, I'll show you the last thing you want to do when you're doing. No, the last thing you want to do sounds like the thing that. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is pour petrol on yourself if you're going near sparks. You know, but I mean, is the last thing I want to tell you to do. Nope. What you should do, right? When you're changing the strings on your guitar, whether you're doing them one at a time or two at a time. Oh, I forgot to show you how the fret rubber worked, but all I was going to do was rub it up and down the fretboard for 2 seconds. And because I cleaned this guitar up the other day and didn't have strings. Yeah, see, these bolts on the top, what you want to do is get yourself the socket set you can't find, but tighten up that bolt, which is holding the tuner on. The number of guitars, especially with new guitars, I think the tuner might be wobbly. I've had a few guitars in where people have wanted to change the tuners because the tuners are run out of rubbish, and it's like they're not. This bolt isn't tightened up, so the actual tuner's moving, and it's like you didn't really need new tuners. All you need to do was just get. You can do it with pliers, but ideally you want to use a socket set or a spanner. Just make that proper tight. On new guitars, they don't tighten them up fully. I think something to do with not wanting to crack the paint or something like that. So it's something worth checking next time you're changing strings, assuming you've got the sort of Gotoh type tuners, which most guitars do have. If there is like a bolt, a nut on the top, tighten it up and it'll stop. It's always a handy thing. They do kind of work loose as well, just with temperature, and wood moves. It's one of those things that wood's a living thing, not anymore. It's a dead thing now. But it was living, so it expands and contracts, and as it gets older, it dries out and it crystallizes, and as it gets hotter, it gets bigger, and colder, it gets smaller, and all these things. Again, I'm just going to put a bit of a kink on it, about 2 inches past the thingy. And I assume this is going to work. And I'm not sure how good an idea it is putting 9s on a Les Paul. They might be quite bendy, but it's quite interesting. Might be good. They got this guy on eBay, which could I put it in the link? I might put it in the link. Assuming they're good. If they're shit, I won't bother putting it in the link because I don't want to badmouth someone. But if these do feel alright, I mean, I can't tell just now. They seem alright. They don't have that stiffness that the really cheap ones did. I used to buy strings called Orpheus, which you could get from eBay. It kind of looked the same, and they were like, £1.19 a packet or £1.10 a packet, and it was just for guitars that you're going to sell, because I mean you can't sell a guitar with shit strings on it. And at the time I was only using elixirs. Elixirs are £12 a set, and it's like I'm selling a guitar for £80 or something like that. I don't want to spend £12-15 on strings for that. I mean, if you're buying a guitar and the strings on it are alright, that's a bonus, as opposed to being, I bought a guitar but the strings were a bit old. It's like, no, you want to, yeah. So there we go, all on. Stick it into the tuner and then tune it up and see what they feel like. Volume up. There is something to be said for. I've heard people say you want to turn the tone control off so you get a pure sound. Don't know. And you'll notice that I'm actually relatively close to being in tune, apart from on the thin two. Remember A, it's got to be a B. Just through, I didn't intentionally try and make it that. It's just done it that many times that it's kind of approximately right when you put the strings on. G was way too big. See, that's something you get when you use like a string winder. You can go over the top, whereas if you're doing it yourself and doing it by hand. Well, I can already tell you that the strings are fine. If you handed me a guitar that had these strings on it, I wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't notice. And I'm quite picky about such things. But it wouldn't be like pure, oh, these strings are pure awful. Whereas the Harley Benton ones, you're kind of like pure, oh, are these the strings that came on the guitar? Or a bit old or something. But I mean, they're all right. They're fine. They pass. They pass. And if they feel okay, I'm sure they'll sound okay. We don't know. What I'm doing here is I'm just giving them a bit of a pull and a bend. What you're doing is like kind of tightening up the bits and stretching them in a little bit. I mean, there's ways of, different ways of tuning it. Doesn't really need to do a bit of that. Yeah, kind of to stretch them out, just to get them used to. I mean, new strings aren't going to stay in tune for the first wee bit anyway. Sorry, I've lost quite a bit there. What I could do is, you could do them one at a time. I'm just doing this because of experience. I've done it so many times. So what you could do is right there. So you've got an E. Right, there's your E, and you could go oh, and then hit it again, a wee bit flat, and then you do it again, oh, and it's no longer going flat. I suppose I could do that with all of them. So A, it is A. Gone down a wee bit. A. The noise is optional. No longer going down. So basically, but looking at this, it appears to be two sets of bending it. So you bend it, you tune it, you bend it, you tune it. That's the D string I'm doing now. It's gone down to C sharp. It's now D, right? So is it going to stay in D if I... No, it's still going down. A wee bit of a naughty D string. The D and the G are the ones that are quite difficult to keep in tune on a Les Paul type, because, well, this is it's not a Les Paul, but you know, it's 3 aside, because the strings, ideally you want them to go straight over the nut. So yeah, the string comes up, goes over the nut, and goes straight to the tuner. If you look at like a Fender, you'll see that the strings do go in a straight line. That was one of Leo Fender's great inventions. So this string comes up over here, and you see these are all parallel in a straight line. That's great. That means there's not as much friction on the nut. I can just spilt a can of juice all over the floor and knelt in it. Oh, what an absolute idiot. Hold on, 2 seconds. Oh. Yeah. I was just sitting there going, up here. My knee's feeling a bit weird. What's going on there? It's because I was kneeling in a can of... It wasn't very nice, actually. Orange juice I was drinking. A bit worse. But okay. Yeah, so... Now it's on. I'll do a wee bit more bending, that bit done. Just have a timer on it. This has not taken me 22 minutes, has it? Oh, for fuck's sake. I managed to do it in 5 before. I know that because I did it at a guitar lesson. It's like, I'm 5 minutes early, but I've got to change the string. And the guy was like, up here, you can't change the strings in 5 minutes. I was like, I can. I did. So I did it really badly, but there you go. So what I'm going to do now is turn the amp on. See if it works. And it does. Oh, you're wondering why I'm putting the strap on. It's because, watch this for technology. Oh, I shouldn't have put the guitar on yet. If I take this mic and I... Sorry, it's a relic. It's a relic guitar. You would never notice, and obviously you would never be trying to. Why can I not get this mic to go in? There you go. Right, I do that. And that, you can't hear me anymore, right? But where's my cursor? Yeah, I'm the absolute technology master here. So I've grabbed that. So if I just go, whoop, in fact, can I just turn that off? Media capture device 3, bang, ah! This is an interesting one, because as you can see, I'm looking at you there, but the camera's now down there, which I don't like. So I'm going to move this whole thing up onto the other screen. There we go. All good. Right. So find a wee tune. And the rat pedal. This guitar certainly sounds much better with strings that aren't like years old and rusty. And they are a little bit bendy, being 9s in a Les Paul, but hey. Now, putting 9s, as you may or may not know, if you put scale lengths are different on a Strat, on a Fender, or a Gibson. Gibson's 24 and 3/4 inches, a Strat's 25.5 inches. So if you put 10s on a Gibson, they're at a certain tension. Because a Fender, like a Strat or something, is slightly longer, if you put 9s on that, they're the same tension as 10s on a Gibson. So if you the common way of doing it is to have, if you've got a Les Paul and a Strat, you would put 9s on the Strat, 10s on the Les Paul, and they both feel similar. So I've put 9s, which I've now converted to using, I used to put 10s on everything, I've now converted to put 9s on Strats. So I'm now I've just put 9s on this, which means these are probably the equivalent of 8s on a Strat or something. But there's a lot of people seem to think, oh, so you get a better tone, and I don't really think you do. I mean, light strings are fine. You don't have to work as hard. It's much easier to bend, pure ridiculous bends, you know, it's like, but you just get a bit more finesse in it. And I'm just now trying to learn how to join the RG club and playing arpeggios and stuff like that, and when you start playing the guitar, you hold the strings in as hard as you can so they don't buzz right. Once you can play, I've been playing for years now. You don't really need, you know, I'm literally just, I can't. I'm putting so little pressure on. It's so little pressure is required. Okay, maybe not. I mean, that's like totally as light as I can touch them. You don't need. That's kind of how a lot of people who do the really fast stuff, they're barely touching the strings. Assuming the guitar's well set up enough. It's also one of the reasons that you always get bad frets on like beginner acoustics that you buy second hand, is because, well, certainly for my case anyway, it's like you're playing open chords and you're just holding them in and you're battering it because you're at a party and you're drunk. So because you're hitting it really hard, your left hand pure clamps on, and once you've played for 6 months or a year, you end up with really strong fingers. So pushing it in as hard as you can is actually about 4 times the pressure as someone who's never played the guitar before pushing the string in. So you end up wearing out the frets. Also, people generally don't tend to change strings on guitars, which isn't, I understand from a financial point of view, but as I said, these are the Ziko Extra Light Specials. I think if you buy one set, they're about £3.50 or something like that off eBay, but if you buy 5 sets, it's a tenner with free postage. The acoustic ones I've used before. If you look, I did a video the other day when I was playing Good Vibrations on the wee Gretsch. That was the acoustic strings I put on it, and they're fine. I'll be totally honest. I would put these strings on my guitars. They don't feel, they're certainly not noticeably different from anything else. Okay, I would notice Elixirs because they've got that sort of slightly rubbery coating on them, and I would notice those Orpheus or the Harley Benton ones because they are kind of stiff, and you know they've saved a penny a packet by using a slightly less metally metal or more metally metal or something. I don't even know. What are these? These are nickel wound. Maybe that's the trick. Music and Life. I swear, I don't even know where they're made. Where they're made. Well, we've created the highest quality guitar strings at the best prices. We understand musicians and strive to exceed their expectations. Well, I'll be totally honest. My they have. Even though I bought these, the acoustic ones, and it was like pure wow. I did not really expect them to be all. I expect them to be acceptable. I didn't expect them to be good in any way. They're good. They're totally fine, and they're £2 a pack. So in this one's, I was like, well, are they going to do the same with electrics? A little niggle. So yes, above my expectations. Totally fine. I've got no issues at all putting these on a guitar I'm selling. But I've got no issues putting these on a guitar I'm taking into the studio, or what, a good one. You know what I mean? An expensive one. Totally fine. Yes. So whatever I mean, they've got lots of China. Designed in Korea, made in China, so they're just Chinese strings. But fine, and these are from eBay UK. So I ordered them on Monday night. Yeah, I ordered them on Monday night, and it said, free delivery, free express delivery. You'll get them on Friday, and they came. It's Wednesday, and they arrived. No issues, great fun. So worth having. Even it's one of those things that's like, why not blow a tenner, right? Get yourself, 5 packs of strings. Keep a couple in your guitar bag. It means that you don't have that thing where you go, oh, these strings are getting old, I better go into town and buy new ones, or like, you've just got them. And it's like, even if they're not your favourite, maybe they're not quite as nice as, the Roto Sounds or the Ernie Balls or something. I'm sure if you A-B the same guitar with the two of them on it, they're probably not quite as, but it's not a noticeable thing, to me anyway. And I've played tons of guitars. I would rather have these on this right now than, I don't know, Ernie Balls or Roto Sounds that are 3 weeks old. They're better than, so, Yeah, so that was a half-hour video. Well, to be honest, if this is the first time you've ever tried changing strings, you should have done it by now. We're talking about the first time. So the tools I used were the string winder, which, as I said, you don't need. It's a Jim Dunlop string winder. You do occasionally have to tighten up that bolt. This is an old thing. I've had this for 20 years. I'm sure there's a black one kicking about somewhere. But then another thing I would maybe, this one's purple, which isn't too bad. I wouldn't buy a black one because you lose it. So basically a fluorescent pink one or something. Do that. Do you even call them pliers? Snips. Marksman drop forged. I think they're actually little ones, aren't they? Yeah. To snip the ends off. Please don't have the strings hanging out like this. It's so, I'll use a modern word. It's buzzword. It's so cringe, but it's like I'm using it in the original terms. It makes me cringe just seeing it because you see people. I mean, I'm talking about going right up to pro musicians. Like famous folk. I don't know Hendrix, whoever, and they've just the strings are just hanging. They're pointing out like this, and it's like. It's so easy just to go. Imagine it going right into your eyeball. Okay, maybe it's not going to puncture your eyeball. It's not going to be nice though. Just snip them off. Snip them off, and don't try wrap the bit just find some way of cutting it. Buy pliers. But next time you're in Lidl, or is it the middle of Lidl? Pliers, must be, or even pound shop pliers. You're not cutting anything particularly. Maybe the pound shop pliers don't cut bass strings, but rock on.